Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into a mystery that completely flips everything we've been taught about saving money. Meet Renata. She's a 33-year-old pharmacy technician living in Toledo, Ohio, and she takes home exactly $2,380 a month. Now, pretty much any traditional financial advisor will tell you, straight up, that is simply not enough income to save anything meaningful. And yet Renata is somehow 3 full months ahead on her survival money. She's just cruising steadily toward a fully funded year. So how on earth is that possible?
Well, the answer hides in one single, incredibly modest number. At exactly 7:14 a.m. on payday Friday, literally before she even pours her first cup of coffee, Renata opens her banking app and moves exactly $50. Not whatever happens to be left over, not $55, exactly 50. It's this silent, completely uncelebrated habit she's kept up for 14 months, and it is building an absolute, unbreakable wall of security.
Now, you might be wondering, how can such a tiny number bypass the brutal math of living paycheck to paycheck? I mean, how does $50 eliminate that highly specific, awful dread of your car making a weird new sound? And most importantly, how does it solve the whole savings problem without feeling like this crushing, impossible burden? The secret, as it turns out, has almost nothing to do with math and absolutely everything to do with human psychology.
To really get why this works, we need to look at the brutal reality of our economy today. The data is just staggering. The Federal Reserve reports that nearly 4 in 10 adults cannot cover a $400 emergency. Bankrate shows fewer than half of us can handle a $1,000 surprise. And JP Morgan research points out something deeply unfair. Lower-income households see their actual paychecks swing by double-digit percentages from month to month. So failing to save in this environment, it is not a personal weakness. The system is literally stacked against moving, unpredictable paychecks.
And that brings us to a really harsh truth. Traditional advice, the whole save 20% of your income thing, is fundamentally broken for most people. Percentage plans are built for folks with a comfortable, predictable surplus. But when rent, groceries, and insurance have already devoured your entire check, well, 20% of nothing is zero. The advice industry just keeps handing out percentage plans to people whose problem was never the percentage. The $50 rule, on the other hand, is built for the reality of real, moving paychecks.
The mindset shift required to actually make this work comes from Renata's uncle Sal. He's been a tile setter for 31 years. Renata once asked him how he had the patience to work on these massive hotel floors that took months to finish. He told her he never, ever worried about the whole lobby. The lobby wasn't his business. His business was laying just one single level tile at a time. He just set the next tile.
And you know what? There is actual behavioral science backing up Uncle Sal's wisdom. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler spent his career documenting something called mental accounting. Basically, our brains do not treat money logically. If you stare at a massive, distant goal like needing 20 grand for a fully funded emergency account, your brain actually votes against you. Looking up at a $20,000 mounting from a $300 valley, it causes good people to just give up. Big plans don't die of math, they die of the view.
So, Renata built her strategy right out of the wreckage of her own failed savings plans. She boiled it all down to 3 unbreakable rules: the brick, the conversion, and the ceiling. Let's break these down because they are a real game changer.
Okay, move 1 is the brick. Renata sat down and calculated her bare bones survival number. We're talking just rent, utilities, groceries, transport, and phone. Nothing else. That came to $1,700 a month. She multiplied that out for a year's worth of survival, which hit $20,400. Normally, a number that big would trigger instant panic, but she took that scary number and divided it by 50. The result? 408 bricks. From that day on, she never looked at the 20 grand number again. She just set an automated payday transfer for one $50 brick and let the machine handle the discipline.
Move 2 is the conversion. Now, this is the absolute engine of the rule, and it operates on a super strict 24-hour timeline. You see, that automated $50 payday brick is just the steady heartbeat of the plan. The real, rapid construction of your financial wall happens when extra money is freed up or found, and you have exactly 24 hours to capture it before mental accounting turns it into fun money for the weekend, which, let's be honest, we are all guilty of doing.
What this means in practice is that when Renata finally canceled an $89 storage unit she'd been avoiding, that freed money didn't just dissolve into her monthly spending. Nope, it instantly converted to bricks. When her $1,140 tax refund landed, Thaler's research tells us she probably should have blown it. Instead, within 24 hours, it became 22 bricks. Covering a weekend shift for a coworker, that's 2 extra bricks right there. Because of this ruthless conversion rule, her $50 habit was actually building at a $400 a month pace.
Move 3 is the ceiling. Now this is the strange one, but it literally saves your plan around month 5. Under the $50 rule, you are never allowed to make a savings decision larger than $50. Ever. You can't say, oh, I had a great month, I'm going to manually transfer $300. Why? Because the exact same ambition that pushes you to save $300 on a good month is the exact ambition that makes you quit entirely when you hit a bad month. The ceiling keeps the plan beautifully boring.
To see the real-world proof of the system, just compare Renata to her coworker Paulette, who makes the exact same income. In month 11, Renata's brake started grinding, a $380 repair. She paid it, and her wall just quietly absorbed 7.5 bricks without any late-night panic math. Meanwhile, Paulette tried saving an ambitious $500 a month. By month 3, her hours got cut, she missed her target, the math laughed at her, and she quit in shame. She's actually restarted and failed 3 times, and currently has absolutely 0 saved.
Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. 408 bricks at $50 a pop takes about 4 years. That feels like forever, right? But here is the secret hiding in the math. By month 4, thanks to her automated payday bricks and her 24-hour conversions, Renata had already banked 34 bricks. That is $1,700. That was her first full month of survival, fully funded, effectively ending her 11:52 p.m. panic math sessions.
And that leads us to the ultimate takeaway here. An emergency fund does not have to be finished to be working. The year is the destination, sure, but the panic dies in the first mile. By month 4, Renata's midnight anxiety sessions were completely gone. By month 14, 3 full months stood behind her. If you are waiting to feel safe until the entire wall is finished, you kind of misunderstand what walls are for. Every single course of bricks is shelter from the storm.
Now, before we wrap this up, we do need to talk about 2 honest carve-outs. First off, if you look at your budget and your income is genuinely negative before a single brick is laid, the $50 rule is not your first move. Listen, this is not a shame instrument. If you are in the red, your very first move has to be fixing the income gap, picking up hours, raising rates, or fighting for benefits. You simply cannot outsave a negative mathematical baseline.
Secondly, where you build this wall really matters. Renata doesn't just leave her bricks sitting in a regular checking account, she puts them in a high-yield savings account. In 2026, these accounts pay roughly 4% interest. To put that into perspective, it means once her wall is finished, just sitting there quietly, it will lay about 16 of its own bricks a year without her lifting a finger. The wall eventually hires itself. How cool is that?
Okay, so let's outline exactly how you can put this into practice tonight. Step 1, strip down your budget, find your honest survival number, divide it by 50 to get your brick count, write it down once, and put it away forever. Step 2, set up that automated $50 transfer for payday morning before your weekend willpower fades. And Step 3, ruthlessly apply the 24-hour conversion rule to any canceled fees, tax refunds, or extra shifts.
Think back to Paulette and Renata on their lunch break 14 months ago. One picked a flashy, fantasy number and failed because it just wasn't built for a real life. The other picked a boring, steady, totally unsexy habit and won her financial freedom. The quiet, boring nature of the system isn't a flaw, it is the entire deliverable. You do not save a year, you lay a brick.
The absolute best morning to start building your wall is the one you wake up to next. You have the framework, you know the 3 moves, and you understand the psychology of exactly why this works. So the only question left is, when will you lay your first brick?